Hello everybody, Michael here for Tactica Imperialis. Welcome to today's video. Today, I just felt like recording something. I know I'm supposed to be a bit more organised these days, but I kind of just felt like recording something. And conveniently, Games Workshop gave me something to make a video about. They have announced the model for Magnus the Red, the 30k version. I'm going to put the image up on the screen now and just narrate over it so you don't have to deal with this ugly mug any longer than you have to. So yeah, Magnus the Red's 30k Horus Heresy Primarch model has finally been announced, and this is the thing I was waiting for. For those of you who are not regular viewers or maybe not long-term viewers, Magnus is my favourite Primarch. The Thousand Suns are my legion, and when I bought into 30k, I actually bought my army to be Thousand Suns in anticipation of a Magnus release. And now I get that Magnus release, and I am very, very happy, because I constantly said to myself, and I said to my friends, like, do you want to buy into 30k? Are you going to get into it? I will, but I just want to hang on, just because I want to wait for Magnus, because until I get my Primarch model, I don't want to commit fully. So I just ate up my last excuse. So yeah, this is really good. It was announced about a week ago. By the time you're watching this video, it was a week ago. I would have made a video a bit more recently, a bit nearer the time about it, but I was a bit fanboy-y at the time. I had a go at recording it, and I listened to it back. It was really gushy and like, really not my style. So I think I've calmed down enough now. I've stopped bouncing off the walls about it, and I feel I can offer a level of thought on the matter. Can I just say, apparently this model is going to be absolutely massive. I think someone has done a side-by-side comparison, and he's going to be way, way taller than Lorgar. I don't know for sure, but I'll put the link in the description to the Warhammer community article as well, and if I can find any other information, I'll add that in too. But it'll mainly just be the Warhammer community article. Now, the one thing I'll say about this release is I'm kind of glad it's not painted, because it would be very easy to just show off the model painted in all its glory, but they haven't. And that for me is actually a good thing, because it means I can actually appreciate the sculpt even more. The other thing is they haven't actually shown us the model from all sides and all angles. We've only, as far as I'm aware, got this front view that you can see on the screen right now. And while that front view is absolutely glorious and sexy, it means that I don't know, for example, what the back of his cloak looks like, what his sword looks like, particularly in terms of like runic markings. We don't get a full in-depth look at all of the intricacies, and we also don't have the full base for him. This is assumedly his battle base that will be then mounted into a scenic base if the rest of the character series is anything to go on. So I'm interested to see what that's going to look like. I get the feeling it's probably going to be up top some ruined Prosperine temple. I don't think they'll make it a two-piece with Russ, because if you remember back to Fulgrim and Manus, the two could be posed to be fighting each other. Same with Abaddon and Loken, they sort of had a joint scenic base if you wanted them to use it. I don't think they're going to do that here with Russ and Magnus. They could, but I don't think they're going to. It might work, mind you. And yeah, a few general thoughts. As for the model itself, okay, now I need to calm down. This model is gorgeous. I'm biased because it's my favourite Primarch and my Legion and everything else. I'm biased, but this may be one of my favourite miniatures ever. Seriously, no word of a lie. This model is beautiful. The sculpt is so intricate, and the detail is just wow. I'll try and get the camera to focus on certain things here as we go along, and I'll try and make it in a bit of cohesive order. So we'll start from the bottom and we'll work our way up to the top, and then I can make my camera pan in a logical speed. So At the bottom you have the rocks that he stood upon, this like fallen Prosperine temple, I assume, or building. You can tell due to the scarab markings on the rocks. The scarab for the Thousand Suns, or Prospero, is a symbol, I believe, of resurrection or rebirth. It's a highly symbolic thing for the Thousand Suns. It's why the transfer sheet in Burning of Prospero has scarabs on it, as well as the Legion insignia. And you can also see, if you follow it around, that the rocks are actually being converted into what I assume is warp fire by Magnus. He's actually taking the elements around him and turning them against his foes, and I think, for one, that is absolutely badass. I'm a little bit concerned about how it will stack up with other models. For example, like, is that fire going to get in the way? Are those rocks going to get in the way because they're hanging off the base quite a lot? So I'm hoping, actually, that you will be able to mount Magnus on a separate base, maybe. It might have to be a Dreadnought or a Centurion-sized base, or some sort of big base that doesn't really have the rocks on, or that the rocks being converted into warp fire are detachable in some way, so they're not going to get in the way during games. And I think it's a really cool idea, and it's something we've never seen before, of actually converting the elements into psychic power for a miniature. I've seen it done for like dioramas and terrain sculpts and whatever, but I've never done it on an actual miniature for the tabletop, and so I think it's really impressive, and it demonstrates Magnus' psychic power in a slightly different way. So if you look at Ahriman's model, he's got his arm outstretched, same as Magnus. I don't think the camera will be up on Magnus' arm yet, but you should have seen it. His arm is outstretched, but Ahriman's not actually manifesting any warp lightning or anything. You look at the traitor sorcerer that came out from Forge World a while ago, that's summoning a demon. That demon is, as far as I'm aware, like coming out of his hand. And, well, you could have done that with Magnus. Because his arm's outstretched, I don't think it would work. It would look too much like he's just shooting a fireball out of his hand, and that wouldn't really work either. So, I love that attention to detail, how they've made Magnus unique as a psyker, whilst also making him look like an absolute badass. Working up, you have the leg plates. I'm not going to try and name it. I think it's like greaves and pauldrons are your leg armor, and then vambraces and something else are your arm armor. I forget all the details. Sorry, military people who know about ancient armor. But the feet, I want to draw attention to the feet for the simple reason of they're quite blocky. If the camera scrolled past, I apologise. But they're quite blocky. You can see they're not as round as other Space Marine boots, which is interesting. Minute thing, but I noticed it. And then you have the lower leg armor, which, oh my god, this is sexy. Oh my goodness, is this sexy. Like, seriously. You've got the winged scarab with the rays, the god rays, and then the flames along the bottom. Oh, that's sexy. And if you look at the two of them, you've got the Thousand Suns insignia with one horn, and then what I assume to be the all-seeing eye. Not the Eye of Horus, because... well, Magnus isn't a traitor, but the Eye of Horus was often bestowed upon people who worked under Horus or alongside the Sons of Horus, I believe, which is why Ahriman has one. But you can see the all-seeing eye as I like to see it, although the symbol of the Seer cults for the Thousand Suns is the raven. Anyway, yeah, those leg pieces are beautifully sculpted, and they'll be a nightmare to paint, but oh my god, are they sexy. Working up, you've got the upper leg armor, not much here, and you've got the tabard, which has a little bit of plate, looks like plating, but it's just like filigree, and then the Thousand Suns insignia again with lightning bolts coming off of it. I thought they might have done it as like actual god rays, same as those off the winged scarabs, but they have chosen not to. And you've got all these almost tags, like they're almost like dog tags, with different Prosperine runes, and I'm assuming they'll be providing a measure of his psychic power. I don't know what's around his waist, the sort of hip armor, so to speak. I'm not sure what that's all about. You've got an approximation of the Aquila. Of course, only the Emperor's children were allowed to bear the Aquila, which is why he doesn't. But you've got an approximation of the Aquila with the Scarab mixed in and the Thousand Suns insignia. It's a beautiful combination. And to be honest, I think that it actually is the Aquila. You can see the two-headed eagle on there. He's got a book. I don't believe this will be the Book of Magnus, because the Book of Magnus, as far as I was aware, was a bit bigger than that. But still, nice touch. Could be the Book of Magnus. We'll have to see a bit more in detail later. You've got the cloak. The inner lining of the cloak is blank, but looking at the bits of detail we can see, I think the outer cloak, at the very least, is going to have a very intricate border. I don't know about the external details, we shall have to see, but I think they'll probably leave that free for some freehand if people feel like it, or if it is sculpted and you want to freehand, you could probably file it off if you're very, very careful. Then you have the actual chest armor, which again is gorgeous. I'm not sure what color they're going to paint it. As far as I was aware, Magnus's armor was quite often like gold because of his red skin rather than actually being red like his Legion. So I'm interested to see how that will be painted up, and when I get my Magnus the model, because spoiler alert, I'm getting this model, I'll paint it to scheme because I don't dare not. The Aquila is replaced by the Scarab, again, nice touch. The neck armor is actually very correct. If you look at some of the artwork for Magnus, that is what his armor looked like, with the bare arms and the extra guard on the neck. Looking at the arms, you can see incredible attention to detail. You can see like some of the muscles and the nerves in his arm. It's particularly the outstretched right arm that we get a proper look at here, and on his hand as well. It might just be photo quality, but wow, that looks good. You've got the wrist armor as well, which if you look at his left wrist as well, looks particularly detailed. He's got his cloak, again, Thousand Suns symbol. I don't know what that sun symbolizes in Proserpine myth, I'll have to find out. Scarab, only one shoulder guard. I find that interesting, unless, no, I don't think that's a right shoulder guard back there. Could be, I'm willing to be wrong, we'll have to see the full sculpt from multiple angles. You've got his sword, well, it could be a sword, it could be a more model like Ahriman's scythe. I call it, I know it's got an Egyptian name, but I forget what it is right now. I think it's Chem something. I forget, Remlays knows it. His weapon, I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like, fully sculpted up. And then you have the head, which just looks spot on. He's deep in concentration, but at the same time, he looks like a badass. The helm looks excellent. Suits the idea of a pharaoh's, it's sort of sculpted like a pharaoh's death mask, which is perfect. The hair's flowing, what I would say, naturally. And then you've got the same sort of horns that you get on Ahriman, which is really nice. And then the bigger horns coming off of his shoulders, or out of his power pack. I don't know where they're coming from, but they're there and they're gorgeous. Now, I know people have raised the point, yes, he's not got horn nipples, I know, calm yourselves down. But honestly, I kind of prefer it that way, because it would just look obtrusive. It just look out of place, I think. With this sculpt in particular, I think it would just look out of place to do, and I personally prefer it the way it is. So, yeah, there you go. That's my thoughts on the Magnus model. If you are wanting to get it, I believe it's going to be on sale at Warhammer Fest towards the end of May. And if you don't get a chance to go and get it, then it will go on pre-order a little bit later. I'm probably not going to be able to go to Warhammer Fest. If I do sneak to go, which is very unlikely, it's in the middle of my exam period, then I'll put an announcement video out, we could do a fan meetup, but that's highly unlikely, don't take that as gospel. But whatever the case, I am so happy to see Magnus. This is the excuse I need to paint my 30k. I brought all of my Warhammer stuff home for these holidays. I wasn't intending to take almost any of it back while I did my last few weeks of uni. But I think I might take my Thousand Suns back with me and try and finish off the Burning of Prospero box, and then start expanding, and then finally dump my money into buying Magnus, which is probably going to be about 80 or 90 quid, I suspect. It's probably about 80 quid, because 70 gets you the most expensive Primarch to date, which I believe is someone like Russ. But this one looks like it's going to be a lot bigger, so I get the feeling it's going to be like 80 quid, or your regional equivalent from Forge World. If and when I get it, well, when, not if, when I get it, I will let you all know, and maybe I'll do a stream or like Alexis's Rants and Ramble style thing where we're working on him, because this is going to be a project that could take me all year. This model could be my like third-year project in France, is just get Magnus looking gorgeous. It could be. It really could be. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the video and that it wasn't too all over the place. I know I'm biased. I'm a Thousand Suns player and I'm a Magnus fanboy, unabashedly so. But I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, let me know what you think of the model in the comments below. And also let me know what Primarch you think is going to be next, because now that the Burning of Prospero is out of the way, Horus Heresy Book 8 hasn't really been revealed yet, so it'll be interesting to see what Primarch we get next, so feel free to have your say on that as well. And now that it's time to end, my name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all again Bye for now.